that you read, the more things you'll know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us to read. Reading has the power to open our eyes, open our hearts, and truly transform us. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Muslim Bookshelf, Islam Channel's book show. I'm your host, Naima B. Robert, and I'm delighted that you chose to join me today. Today's quote is from somebody that you would not be expecting, and that is a man named Napoleon Bonaparte. And he said, "Show me a family of readers, and I will show you the people who move the world." Well, I think you'll understand the significance of that quote when I introduce you to my guest today, which is Sujel Miah.
I'm Sujel Miah. I'm a son to wonderful parents, a husband to a loving wife, a father to 5 beautiful children that bring so much joy in my life. I'm a runner, I'm a cyclist, I'm a swimmer. I love spending time in nature, and I'm someone that finds meaning and purpose in making a difference to the lives of others. And I'm also an author. During the pandemic, I was a volunteer for the funeral services. I was involved in the ghusl, washing loved ones and community members, and I was involved in the burial service. We were surrounded by death. We were surrounded by difficulty. And being involved in the funeral services, I was asking myself a question. What have I left my children if I was to go, if I was to die today? And that got me thinking. I started to gather my thoughts and thinking, what is it I can do? And during that time, we should spend a lot of time together as a family, having dinner together. And I would share different values, life lessons, principles, my life experiences with my children. And we used to have such enriching conversations, heartfelt conversations over the dinner table that they would benefit from and I would benefit from as well. So I thought, if only I could do something with this, that I can have this as something that I can leave behind for them. So I started to make notes, and I started to collate those conversations that we had around the dinner table as a gift for them, from the grave, from me to them, that one day they can read those conversations, those lessons that we spoke about, we discussed, and it'll be something that will bring them some joy, a moment of reflection, and help them in whatever situation they were going through in life. When you come to the graveyard, and we're taught in our tradition that we should remember death often. Remembering death reminds you of the scarcity of life, knowing that you're going to go at any moment. And I want to leave my children something, my legacy, in terms of that will help them through their life. Being surrounded by death all the time reminds you of the reality of life. The only way to truly live is knowing that you're going to die. I'm a runner. I really enjoy running. I'm part of Luton Lions. I spend a lot of time helping and supporting other people, improving their health and well-being. I really enjoy running in nature, and that's where I spend time reflecting on my life experiences and contemplating about life. I enjoy cycling, I enjoy swimming, and I enjoy being involved in initiatives that make a difference in people's lives. I'm involved in the education sector. I've got a couple of settings, earlier settings, and I really believe, and if we're going to make a difference to children, we've got to start very early, and we've got to build and nurture that sense of confidence and sense of belonging and ownership from a very young age, so they grow up with this sense of confidence and resilience. Dinner with my daughters, life lessons around the dinner table, is just part one. We have a lot more to share. We've got another 60 life lessons that we need to share to the world. So by the end of this, we should have 5 books, inshallah. The whole idea of Dinner with My Daughters is a catalyst to bring families together. We want to start a revolution around the dinner table. We want to positively impact families, not just in the UK, but around the world. And we need your support to share this message, to be involved in this movement, to bring families together and make our strong communities stronger.
Assalamu alaikum, brother. Welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam, sister.
Brother Sujel is here because he and his family have embarked on a literary project that is exciting, that is new, that is ready to start a revolution, mashallah. Brother Sujel, please tell the viewers who you are. How do you introduce yourself these days?
My name is Sujel Miah and I'm the proud father of 4 daughters and a son.
Mashallah. Anything more about you that led you?
Yeah, we've written a book. It's called Dinner with My Daughters. Dinner with My Daughters, it's a collection of lessons that have been inspired by conversations that I've had with my daughters over the years around the dinner table.
Yes.
And it's been a family endeavour. It's been a family project. It started a long time ago, I would say, before COVID, before lockdown, where we would have conversations over the dinner table, and it started very much as simply as sharing one thing that we should be grateful about in our lives. And my children would go around the table, my daughters and myself and my wife, and we'd share things that we're grateful for. And from that, it would snowball into different conversations. And I decided to capture those conversations and hopefully, put together a book. So we have part 1, which is about 12 lessons inspired by conversations that we've had primarily around the dinner table. That will be something, first and foremost, as a legacy, something that will live beyond me. Something that I want to leave behind for my children. So they can, when they read this book and read the lessons there, it'll take them back to a time that we were together as a family, sharing memories, sharing stories, sharing experiences. Dreams intertwined into these which have made these lessons that I've wanted to share with them first and foremost, and the world. That will help hopefully guide them through life in terms of the challenges they may face and the ups and downs that we all have.
Absolutely, and I think the fact that you came together as a family to create this is very, very special, and we'll be talking more about that, inshallah. But I'd like to sort of go back a little bit to the habit or the practice of sitting down and speaking around the dinner table. Why do you do that? And did you always do that?
Yeah, I mean, we always try to, what I've always tried to do is, and it's something it's from our family, with my parents, that we would always eat together. But in a time where people are feeling so disconnected and families, especially now, the family dynamics seem to be eroding, it's much more important now that we have an opportunity to sit together and eat together. And there are lots of benefits of eating together. And one of the things is about us sharing and having conversations and about our life, really, putting away the phones, putting away every distraction.
That's a big one. That's a big one.
Just being present and letting our children know that we're there, and letting them know that they're important, and giving them the opportunity to share experiences in their life so they feel valued, and helps their confidence, helps their self-esteem. But we get to learn about them, but at the same time we get to learn about ourselves as well. There are amazing things, and I'm sure it'll resonate with you, that when you sit down with your children, they share such profound lessons, or you have such profound conversation. If only we took the time. Different perspective. Each one of my daughters always brings something different to the dinner table, a different perspective, and it's always enriching. And I want them to have those memories that actually that we used to sit together and we eat together. I've always told them that a family that eats together stays together. We know that. And sharing food and having conversation, being open and being vulnerable, letting your guards down. And often we try to see, we carry different identities, we wear different cloaks or different masks, but around the dinner table it's you. You're important, your voice is important, your journey is important, and I'm there for you. And I found that as a sanctuary for me, really.
It's interesting because you talk about that exchange happening at the dinner table, And it's almost like there's this two-way exchange. Absolutely. Where it's almost you're giving yourself permission as a parent to be present, to talk, to share, you know, whether it's stories or, you know, observations, perspectives, etc. For your children to hear, which doesn't happen that much, actually. I think as parents, we think we spend a lot of time talking, but actually we spend a lot of time talking about very mundane things, don't we? Yeah. We're doing a lot of, you know, reminding about tasks, telling off, you know, kind of, you know, that type of talking, but not much personal sharing, not much real passing on of stories and wisdom. And then you've got the other side where the children are also getting space and permission to speak and share their perspective. And you as the parent now get to receive.
Absolutely. And you know, you're absolutely right. It's an opportunity for you to listen, you know, listen to them. Often we always want to jump the gun, or we want to make a contribution, but just sit back and listen, hear what's happening. You know,
is that hard? Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's hard because we always try to impose our perspective. We have certain expectations. We just need to allow them to be themselves. You know, one of the things with raising daughters is I've had to learn as a father. This is my personal experience, that I need to be more patient. Raising daughters is different than raising sons.
Really?
You know,
what do you see as the differences?
I've had to learn to be. I've needed to have a higher level or greater level of patience, more gentleness in my approach. As men, we tend to hide our emotions a lot and just be a bit more open, explain things a bit more. And a no isn't a no. Why are you saying no for? Explain to me, you know. And I think, you know, it's helped me develop as a father. We're on this journey. Parents don't come with a manual. No. We're constantly learning. Yeah. And it's okay to be vulnerable. It's never too late to be a good parent. We have this one opportunity, this gift in front of us, our children. I'm talking about my daughters here. The miracle in our lives, the gems in our life. They want a great relationship. They want a beautiful relationship. They want to have a strong connection with you. We have an opportunity to allow that to happen.
It's interesting that you say that. Firstly, I want to talk about vulnerability because I think, firstly, I want to hear what your definition of vulnerability is and also how it can be difficult for the parent figure, who's the authority figure, to be vulnerable with young people, with their children. So firstly, what's your definition of vulnerability? What do you mean when you say that?
It's okay to talk about things that are challenges that happen in your life.
Right.
You know, it's
so
okay
open.
Openness. It's okay to talk about how you feel. We don't do a lot of that, you know. We kind of, hence what you have within, and you read about it, you know, one of the highest rates of men suicide under 50s. Sorry, suicide under 50s is men. And we tend to hide our feelings, to suppress our feelings, and not just talking about suicide, but all sorts of other mental issues. You know, we close ourselves off. But we have family there. That family, you know, we take that kind of view as the father figure, you know.
That you have to have it all figured out.
All figured out, and that parental responsibility, that shepherding, and you know, being that guide and having everything sorted. And you know what I found through these stories or these lessons or these conversations, they were helping me. You know, my daughters would say such profound things, and they would actually help me, remind me about it's okay. You know, it's okay to feel like that. It's okay that things are going to be okay. You know, I might be thinking about I'm getting older now, and my daughter would turn around and tell me, well, you're at this old, but imagine you had 20 years ahead of you. What would you do, Dad? You know, I remember my daughter saying that, and I said, I'm hitting 40 now.
Yeah.
I'm 40 now. She goes, imagine you've got 20, 30 years ahead of you. Focus on those kind of things.
Yes.
What we focus on grows.
Of course.
And if we focus on, our attention, which they want, on our daughters and on our children, that love, that connection, that bond, that togetherness, that warmth will grow.
Yeah.
They'll remember that.
Yeah.
And I always visualize this as my legacy of giving this to my children is something that, you know, once I'm a volunteer in the funeral services, and I perform ghusls, I bury our loved ones, and during COVID, I was very much on the front line. And we had a lot of funerals for friends and family and people in our community. And it's a stark reminder about the scarcity of life. And a question that actually, what have I left behind for my children? And with the lens of the hereafter, this is a guide for them to navigate through this life and just be of good character.
Yeah. But character comes up a lot. Character comes up a lot in the book, and gratitude comes up a lot in the book.
Character. It's about their mindset. It's about.
I would say actually probably the biggest sort of game changer, certainly that you see again and again in the stories, is the power of the mindset. And in fact, you can see on these pages here, interspersed throughout, there's reminders, right? And just a short quote, which is just driving home that message, right? Everything happens for a reason. These are things that we as adults are learning now, as we develop ourselves, as we grow, as we read more books. So to have this available to younger people is really amazing.
Yeah, the whole intention is, I know, I can talk to you about in a moment how we composed the book. I wanted to involve my children in this. And the illustrations are done by my daughters.
Let's do that. So let's talk about, so we know that there was dinner table conversation, and we know that was an approach on your side, or an intentional approach on your side, to make the dinner table a safe space where everybody could speak and be heard and listen, etc. So we know that was happening. And then we know also that you wanted to preserve that somehow. Yeah. So what happened between you thinking, what have I left for my kids, and the book that we have here today? Yeah,
so I wrote up a number of, over 50 plus conversations.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've got a whole year. I said if we were going to do this properly, then we'd have one each week. We've only got 12 here. And I want
it's just the start.
It's just the start. So my daughters were involved in the selection process of which ones are we going to share first.
Yes. How did they decide?
So, they went through it basically. And I said, I like this one. And then we had a kind of, vote which one. And I've got 4 daughters. I like this one, etc.
So did they argue about which ones to choose?
Yes. They all have their favourites. They all have their likes.
For sure.
And, which ones they think should be going out first. And then what I would do is, I'm not I would say personally, this is my own vulnerability, I'm not a great writer. And
have you seen how many of the authors who come on the show are, mashallah, so modest and humble and will not accept that they have actually written anything good? Don't listen to them. Don't believe them, okay? The book is good. Mashallah, tabarakallah.
So I wanted to involve my daughters in it, and they, Allah's blessed them with that gift that I'm deficient in, I believe so. What we do is I'll get the conversation written up, and I'll put it on top of our staircase. Okay. And we'll do the 24-hour test, basically. And I would leave it there. And then I would, and the kind of thing that would happen is they have an opportunity to come and edit it.
Really?
Yeah, so they will have, by the time I wake up in the morning, there'll be edits.
No,
that could be shorter, that could be shorter.
So the family didn't only kind of create the content in terms of the conversations, but they were also involved in the editing process.
That's right. So even each kind of title would go up and say, okay, does that fit and capture the essence of the story? And we had different iterations, and it was amazing.
Amazing, that's amazing.
And then it was so much, it was fun, there was this collective effervescence with the whole thing, the joy of putting something together.
And the effervescence comes through, I must say, especially in the illustrations. And who's responsible for the illustrations?
It's my daughter Rumaisa and Hanifa. Rumaisa's here with me. There's always a daughter that journeys with me wherever I go, my companions.
Yes.
So both of them were, and the illustrations have changed from the first time they started doing the illustrations about 2 years ago. This is draft. This is like the version where they want to it's like everything. Over time, they feel that things need to change. Over time, things need to change, and they want to make improvements.
Yes.
So I've allowed that time for them to actually...
To have fun with it.
To have fun with it, enjoy it. And the whole thing's about capturing the spirit of our...
This is the spirit for me. This is the effervescence for me. Okay.
So, and those were things that were happening during our conversation.
What's this one about?
My daughter loves lemons, and they always fight over lemons on the dinner table with everything.
So now you know what this illustration is about. I love that.
So it's precious.
But in this one, she's giving her the lemon.
That's right. And that story is about sharing and sharing and caring. And each illustration tries to capture the spirit of the story. That again,
you can tell that this is not an adult who did these, not because they're not good quality, but because of the imagination and the vision that they clearly had. And obviously, mashallah, they're very talented. We love the colours that they used. And just the concepts, mashallah, that they came up with for the book. Absolutely beautiful. So there were 2 illustrators from the family?
That's it. My 2 older daughters, Hanifa, so Rumaysa and Hanifa. So, and they've come, the illustrations have come a long way.
So it's been a journey for them creatively as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. The illustrations were there to, everything has been, in my view, is ihsan. They want to get it to excellent, the illustration. They want the illustrations to capture the spirit of that conversation, of that lesson, so you can stand. So
they're sort of interpreting the conversation in the illustrations.
These stories are the lessons there are conversations that are intertwined with dreams, experiences, things that are happening in my life, that are coming to the dinner table, that are happening in my daughter's life. I want my daughters, whenever anything happens in their life, good or bad, for me to be the one they turn to. I want them to be, I want the person in their life that whatever happens, that they can turn to me. That it's the little things that make a difference in people's life.
So let's kind of widen the conversation out a little bit. Obviously, you're the father of girls. And one of the things that we've talked about with this book is how it showcases the impact that, you know, an involved father can have in his daughter's life. And you're talking about, you know, you being the first person that they come to and wanting for that to be the quality of your relationship. Firstly, why? And secondly, how?
You know, I always take inspiration from the example, like we all do, of our Prophet Muhammad, our beloved Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And there's this thing, there's this incident and then there's this hadith, and there are many about how he would approach children and how he would interact with children. Such beautiful examples. And one of the most inspiring one is how he'd respond to when his youngest daughter, Fatima radiallahu anha, would approach him, that he would stand up, wherever he was, he would stand up. He would greet her and welcome her. And he would take her by the hand, he would kiss her, and then he would get her to sit down where he is. That's love, that's compassion. That's the greatest example I can see. As a father, this is what we strive to, that love. And, you know, I want to create that. And it's a two-way thing, you know, between the father and the daughter, that, you know, I'm able to show that compassion, that mercy. I don't have to be that. When I need to be firm and steadfast, I can be that. But I can also be loving and caring and kind. I can be all those qualities, like the Prophet ﷺ was. And so, you know, I can only imagine that the daughters of Rasulullah would turn to him for everything.
Oh, definitely.
They would turn to him for it, whatever it was. Nothing was too small and nothing was too big. And he would give that time, and he would give that time for each of them. And I want to be the type of father, and which we all strive to actually, as fathers, to be the ones that give our children time, the ones that you know, they can feel they can turn to, whatever difficulty is. You know, it's that parents' love. You know, we'll give our arm, our legs for our children. You know, that you only grow up when you have children. I believe. You know,
you think so?
I think, you know, I believe, you know, because
I'm here. Sorry, can I just say, I'm hearing from you. Of course, your daughters, mashallah, are blessed to have you as a dad. You know, you have such a high standard for yourself in terms of that relationship. But I'm also hearing that you yourself have gained and grown through this relationship with your daughters. And
it's a message for not just, it's a reminder for myself, not just for me, but for everybody, every father.
Talk to us about that. Like, what is your hope for, what are you hoping to,
I mean, there's two aspects
to fathers?
Two aspects. You know, it's never too late to be that person in the lives of our children. And that special relationship that we want with our children, it's never too late. Okay, whatever happens in your life, and things happen in all our lives. There are struggles, setbacks, difficulties, and we can overcome that. You know, our children are our children at the end of the day, and we can turn to them with compassion and kindness. Whatever has happened, if we create that love within our home when they're growing up, then whatever happens in their life, whatever the difficulty, they'll know that it's great here. And the message here is...
They're always coming home,
They're always coming home,
because home is a good place to be. And I think, sorry, if I can just just jump in here. I think sometimes that can be hard for parents because we're pushing so hard on so many fronts.
Yeah.
That home can actually not be a very nice place to be. It can be a tough place to be, an unwelcoming, unfriendly, tough place to be. And I always wonder how that impacts our children, especially in today's age where they can leave home early and really they can leave. Not like previous generations where, you're always going to go back home. Now it's much more possible for our children to leave and just say, you know what, I don't really want to see my parents much anymore. I don't really want to go and see them every week, I'll go for Eid, but, So I guess what I'm hearing from you is, how to make home a good place to be.
Yeah. I think that I'm just responding to you. You don't realize, I'm talking something very quite personal, you don't realize how important something is until it's not there anymore. You realize how something is really special when you don't have it anymore.
For sure.
That child that you complain about all day long, if that child leaves you or a loved one leaves you, you don't remember the bad things, you don't remember the difficulties, you remember all the good things, subhanAllah. So we have the opportunity, life is scarce, time is scarce, to, enjoy those moments that we have in this life with them, with the hope that we'll be with them in the hereafter. It's not just about this life, it's about also creating that castle, that home for ourselves in the hereafter. The journey that we have as husband and wife, it's not just between husband and wife, it's with our families, our children. Our destination is the hereafter that we try to create for a home for them on the other side.
Yes.
That's our responsibility. And for all the fathers out there and the mothers out there, don't be too hard on yourself. Sometimes we're really hard on ourselves. We beat ourselves so much. We crush ourselves really because we feel that, when our child hasn't achieved something or something's gone right, we blame ourselves. We're really hard on ourselves. Step back for a moment and take in that special moment that you have, the children that you have. Be grateful for already what you have. Often we're striving for the things that we don't have, and our expectations are based on other people we see.
What you think we should have.
We should have. What you have is you have something special
what you
already.
have is what's written for you right now.
It's written for you, and it's special. That child is special. That time you have with your children is special. That dinner time, whatever it is, if it's once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, it's special. It might be 10 minutes, it might be 15 minutes. The whole thing about the idea and the vision for this book is to encourage families out there. As my daughters would say, it's a movement, it's a revolution to bring families back to the dinner table. We're not saying, hire a restaurant now and make this something, a once a month kind of thing. You just do it in your own home. Whether you sit around the dinner table or you sit around the sofa.
It's a simple intention, isn't it?
Simple intention.
It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be over the top anything. It's just, I think, very much a case of just making an intention and making a decision to say, this is what I want for our family. This is what we want for our family. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, and the book is a catalyst for that. And I've read the lessons and the conversations to other people, and the whole idea is use it as an impetus, really. Use it as a catalyst to, whether you read a story before dinner or a lesson before dinner or a bedtime lesson. It's as relevant to children as is relevant to adults.
For sure.
Because when you read those conversations and you read the lessons behind them, you'll see that it resonates with you. Because
they're timeless in that sense.
They're timeless. They're universal.
Yes. The book looks like a children's book, but I think it's a bit deceptive in that sense because it's actually not really a children's book. It's a family book.
It's a family book.
It was written by a family, and it's written for families to explore and enjoy together.
And the whole idea is for you to have a conversation. So when you look at that, when you read the conversations and the lessons and the titles or the quotes in here, then you step back as a parent with your family. What does it mean for you?
Yes.
What did you take from this?
Yes, that's a good question. What did you take from this?
So everybody's life's different. Everybody's journey is different. Different people have different experiences. You're in different points in your life.
And sometimes our children are having experiences that we have no knowledge of whatsoever. And sometimes we as adults have had experiences that our children have no knowledge of because we just haven't thought of or made the time to actually share with them, like you said, in that vulnerable way.
We haven't shared them. And just going back to something that you mentioned earlier, if you think about it, that often, and I say this, I'll talk for myself as a father, and it may resonate with other fathers as well, often we bring, we set the mood in the house sometimes because it's about if we're spending most of the time outside, we bring that mood home. If we're anxious and we're uncertain, when we turn up the door, we change the mood of that house. And if we think back how our beloved dear Prophet ﷺ was, you know, his wife, Muslimah radiallahu anha, would describe him as somebody who would bring the party home, the celebration home. He would bring the laughter, he'd bring the joy home. Meaning that when you turn up to your door, think about how you enter that home. Your family doesn't know all these things that have happened to you. And if you bring that anxiety home, you push it back on your family. So we can step back and say, you know, I'm coming to my home. This is my sanctuary. This is my home. And this is my safe space. You know, I don't need to push it back onto my family. If an opportunity arises where around the dinner time, what I'm talking about my experience, you'll see most of the time your family will reassure you. You know, I like to encourage. It's not just about just sitting around the dinner table, but all the other things that happen, the chores, who's doing the chores, who's cleaning up the plates.
There's practical elements of this that are all life lessons.
My wife is there in the background. And, you know, my wife doesn't need this book. I needed this book to say that I'm making a difference in my children's life. You know, my wife is there constantly supporting my children.
MashaAllah.
And
so I have a question though. Who sets the tone in the house? The wife or the husband?
I think both of us do. I think both of us do. But you know, I've got to take personal responsibility there as well.
Fair enough.
You know, if I'm coming into the house and I'm in a certain mood, that's gonna.
It's a downer.
It's a downer. You know, and I've got to, you know, lift myself up because it's important for my family and their well-being. Really.
Do you think that there's an element of emotional regulation that we all need to learn, even as adults?
We regulate each other. If we're sitting around the dinner table, it tells you that, you know, if you eat together, all the research points that if you're eating together and you're talking together, you regulate each other's emotions.
Yes.
But also what you do is your well-being, your happiness, you're releasing those well-being, you know, happy chemicals or well-being chemicals, the serotonin, the oxytocin, the dopamine, everything there is happening. You're going around, you're touching your children, you're hugging your children.
Physical touch, okay, so hold on, how many love languages can we count?
You can count to all 4.
So there's acts of service, there's physical touch, there is time, quality time. What's the other one? Gift giving, maybe not. Maybe not gift giving, but I think the other one is words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
So we've got 4 out of the 5 love languages, guys, happening around the dinner table. And people think love languages are only between a husband and wife or between spouses. But those love languages, I think they do translate into our relationship with our children.
All relationships, you know. We need to make quality time for our children. So I'll tell you something, you know, when I'm spending time with my children out of the dinner table, I'll make sure that I've got special time for each one of them in different ways. Because sometimes they need that one-to-one time. Like in our relationship between the spouse, you need that one-to-one time with each other. You need that one-to-one time with your children.
Do you think that, I'm going to say parents as a whole, but specifically fathers today need to be more intentional when it comes to building relationship with their children?
I think so. But let it be organic. Let it be natural. You know, don't try to be so... clinical about it.
Right.
Yeah. So just be natural.
What does that mean though? Because if I don't know that, if I didn't come from that, I never saw my dad building a relationship with me, if I didn't see it, and now I hear you speaking and I hear you, I like the way it sounds, I want that for my family, and I'm going to make intention to do that. Give me some clues as to how can I be organic with it.
Just spend time with them.
Right.
Just be natural.
Be present.
Be present.
Be yourself.
Easy. Be yourself. Be easy with them. You know, put away the... we all know, you know, the truth about we're always somebody outside. But inside our own 4 walls, everybody knows who we are.
Right. Okay. There's no hiding.
No hiding from that. So, you know, we're always striving to better ourselves, you know. You know, as our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and dear beloved Prophet to us, you know, the best of you are those who are best their families. We've always got that, you know, that marker, that standard to continue to strive.
Yes.
Yeah, that's there.
It doesn't end. The striving doesn't end.
And just continue to do that. Yes. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have good days. The main thing is you don't break those bonds. Don't you know, damage them. Don't burn those bridges.
Those children.
Yeah, you know, we can. Oh, the thing is, confrontation and conflict happens when you have different expectations. It's just in the workplace, you know, you as a manager have a certain expectation, a task has to be delivered. The people that your subordinates or the people that you manage, etc., have another idea of what they are expected to do. And then you have a clash, a confrontation. Have a conversation about what good looks like, you know.
Yes,
Have a conversation.
Absolutely.
And every child has, no child is the same.
Yeah.
Everyone's different. Everyone has a different passion.
It's an ongoing journey of learning, mashallah.
It's that diversity that variety is beautiful.
Yeah.
That diversity, you know, you'll never get bored, you know. You can come away enriched, fulfilled, you know, being with your children, you know, that's your friendship. You know,
that's what we want. I think that this is, you know, something that I'm sure there are parents out there who are listening and saying, I want that for my life. But inshallah, we're hoping that with this book and with more resources from yourselves, that we will be able to bring families into a new era of communicating and connecting over the dinner table and, of course, outside of the dinner table. Brother Sujel, thank you so much for just sharing your perspective and your wisdoms here with our audience. How can people get the book and also resources associated with the book?
Well, so we're on Instagram, Dinner with My Daughters. I believe we're on Twitter. We've got a website which is hopefully will be ready.
Yes.
And so
dinnerwithmydaughters.com.
Dinnerwithmydaughters.com. That's simple.
MashaAllah, we love it. Alhamdulillah. It's exactly that kind of simplicity that we absolutely love, Brother Sujel, and your whole family. I am so thrilled for you that you've been able to bring this project together. May Allah bless it with continued success. I can't wait to see the impact that it's going to have on families everywhere. And as always, my dua is that this beautiful book ends up on Muslim bookshelves all around the world. Ya Rab, make it happen. Brother, Jazakumullahu khairan.
Jazakumullah, sister. Thank you for having me.
For more books for Muslim families, check out our weekly reading list, The House of Ibn Khatir, The Competition Begins by S.N. Jalali, The Simple Seerah by Asim Khan and Sujel Miah, 1001 Inventions, The Enduring Legacy of Muslim Civilization by Salim Al-Hassani.